welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing all my tips and tricks for how to start running. Whether you've gone through an injury that has put you off from running, or maybe you lost the motivation to continue running, or maybe you would like to try running for the first time in your entire life and it seems like something very scary, because it totally can be. Well, whatever situation you might be in, trust me, this video will definitely help you get started. And be sure to stay tuned until the end, because I'm also going to be sharing with you all a training schedule / workout template that you can use yourself to give you kind of a foundation for how to set up your running and training schedule, because it is important as a runner to not only train by running, but also make sure that you're doing strength and endurance workouts as well. Some of you may have seen my first video, which was running 2 miles a day every single day. And the idea behind that video was basically to get back into running and get consistent with my running. If you haven't watched that video, be sure to go check that out after you finish watching this video. So I've been running on and off for the past like 11 years now almost. It was around 2010 when I started running the first time, and wow, what a running journey it has been. So my experience with running is with long distance running. I have participated in 2 half marathon races, multiple 5Ks, and I was also part of my cross country team in high school. All of the knowledge and experiences that I've shared throughout my running journey, I want to share with all of you. The first tip that I have for you all is to start small. It doesn't matter if you were someone like me who has had experience with running for many years. If you haven't ran for more than 3 months, you got to start over. You got to start from scratch, because your endurance level, your VO2 max, it has all changed, and you basically have to start from the ground up. And it's okay. We all have to start from zero. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about running. This can be the hardest part for people who have ran before. I can tell you this for myself. I tend to push myself a little bit too hard, but please, if you follow this step, you will continue to grow slowly but surely. That brings me to number 2 on the list, which is to learn correct running form. If you've never ran before, you might want to look up some videos on YouTube, maybe from the Run Experience. They're one of my favorite running channels here on YouTube, and they always have professionals like physical therapists come on who can teach you correct running form and make sure that you're not swinging your arms like crazy, or that you're not doing anything in your performance that will potentially cause injury to your body, because that will cause you to not be able to run for months, and nobody wants that, right? Because it's not fun. Don't compare yourself to other runners. The beautiful thing about running, and the reason that I really enjoyed cross country, is because it didn't matter how fast or slow the person next to me was going. What mattered was how fast or slow I ran in my previous race, and could I beat my own PR? Can you go faster? Can you push just a little bit harder than you did in your last run? So essentially, it's a sport where you can just compete against yourself. You're your own competition. You're the only person who can push yourself that little extra bit, or who knows to listen to your body and pull back a little bit, because it's very important to listen to your body if you're a runner. I definitely have made the mistake to push myself a little bit too hard, and that made me gain a huge injury that then put me off from running for months to a year. One of the best tips that my marathon coach would always teach us in high school was basically, if you think you're running slow enough, try running slower. And the thought process behind that is because it actually is a skill. It's a learned skill to be able to pace yourself, to be able to control your breathing, to, you know, maintain a conversation while you're running. Like, some people can run fast, but for those fast runners, a lot of the time it's really hard to slow down or to maintain a steady pace or cadence. And if you can actually hone in on that skill, ooh, girl, you're gonna be able to pass everyone in your races, because slow and steady really does win the race. Number 6 is definitely to get yourself a good pair of running shoes. If you've never gone to a professional running store or running company before, I definitely recommend doing it. You know, it's a good running store if they have a treadmill set up and they have you run for a few minutes or seconds, so they can study how your foot places onto the treadmill, because most of us either supinate or pronate when we run. Some of the brands that I recommend are Asics, Saucony, Hoka One One shoes, Brooks running shoes, Nike Pegasus. Those are all really great running shoes for very different reasons. Coming at you with tip number 7, I highly recommend that you use a running tracking app. The one that I have been using for years is the Nike Run app. I love it. It's honestly so cool because it helps you with tip number 4, which is to compete solely with yourself. You know, it tracks your workouts, your paces, and the dates and everything. And I find it super useful because even years later, I can go back and see how I've grown as a runner and all of the workouts that I've done and everything that I've accomplished. One of my biggest regrets is actually not using the app every single time that I've ran. I highly recommend the Nike running app, or for you to find a running app that works for you. There's different apps such as Map My Run, some others that I will try to list on the screen here or down below in the description box so that you can check them out and test test them out for yourself. Number 8 is super important, and that is to change up the surfaces that you run on. So a lot of runners, oftentimes we get hung up on running on the same surface every single day. Maybe you go for a run outside, on the sidewalk. So you're always running on concrete, which is really stressful on your joints, your muscles, and your bones. So you want to give your body a little bit of a break by changing up the surfaces that you run on. But I'm also not saying you should be running on trails all the time, especially if you have any previous injuries. But for sure, change up and diversify your runs. It's also good to change up your scenery so that you can really take in the fullness of running. Part of it is just that you get to be a part of nature, that you can explore new areas as you run. So I definitely recommend going for different trail runs. You can do track runs. You can continue to run outside, but maybe explore new neighborhoods or new areas in the city that you haven't seen before. There's definitely plenty of ways to diversify your run. And I also definitely think that it's great to start out running on a treadmill if you have access to one, and even just adding in a treadmill workout into your regular routine, because it provides a lot less stress to your bones, which gives it a little bit of a rest while you're also still maintaining your endurance. Number 9 is super important, and that is to celebrate your milestones. Whether that is to set a small goal to maybe increase your distance or your pace just a little bit, no more than 10% per week, by the way. Whatever it is, you can celebrate it by buying yourself a new pair of running shoes or workout clothes, or maybe, I don't know what it might be, but make sure that you celebrate it. Take pictures, track your progress, post it online if you'd like I do with my fitness Instagram. Whatever it might be, this definitely helps to maintain motivation and to continuously inspire yourself to continue on your running journey, because trust me, a big part of being a runner and becoming a runner is the mental discipline that it takes to continue to do so. You know, a lot of people who love running, it's not because it's like the funnest, easiest thing in the world. It's for so many different reasons. And again, this can be a whole other video about why you should be a runner and why you should start running. And that might be something that I will have to post in the near future. Tip number 10 is to create a training schedule. This is probably by far the best way that I know to stay consistent. I know in my first video of that running 2 miles every single day, I made it seem like I run every single day to stay consistent. That was just a 1-week challenge for myself to prove to myself that I could still run even after weeks of not running. But do I recommend that you run 2 miles every single day, especially if you're starting back out again or starting to run for the first time? I do not. Actually, even seasoned runners don't run every single day because it's not great for your joints and for your bones. So with that said, I've created a 5-week training plan that I hope to share with you all. If you're interested in getting a copy of my free training plan, all you have to do is go down below to the link in the description and sign up for my mailing list so that I can easily share this with you. I will likely send out the email sometime next week. So this is a training program that I've been following for the last 3 weeks. I created it about a month ago, and I've gone from being able to run about a 1/4 mile and just dying. Like, honestly, it was so hard to run just 5 minutes at the beginning of these 3 weeks. Just yesterday, I ran 2 miles with my boyfriend at the park, and that's not something that I could have started out doing. And there's so many reasons that you shouldn't start out running too much, or, you know, setting any type of goal to run 30 minutes a day. I highly recommend that you take a look at the training program that I put together, because you'll see how I slowly and steadily increase the difficulty and the distance of the runs, and also diversify some of my runs by adding in there some fartlek runs, some tempo runs, and things like that. So definitely check that out, and it's for free, y'all. I want to share these things with you all to make running fun and more accessible to more of you. If you have any questions about the training plan that I created, or any questions about how to start your running and fitness journey, please ask me down below. Other than that, you can definitely keep up with my journey by subscribing to this channel or by following me on my Instagram. I will see you all in the comments section and in next week's video. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Until next week.